of yours. I know. I need it. There you go.
I got you. He's got his hand up. Wait on my signal. I'm coachable.
Okay.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Board policy BD states that annually after the November election, the superintendent presides and acts as temporary chairman of the meeting until such time as a new chairman is elected. In accordance with South Carolina Code of Laws 1985, Section 30-4-80-E, the following have been notified of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting: the Herald, the Charlotte Observer, CN2, and WRHI. Would you join me now for a moment of silence? Join me now for stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board, you have the agenda before you. Any changes or additions or anything we need to do there?
No, sir.
We'll accept as approval. Now we have the election of the chair. Board policies BD and BE require election of board officers. At this time, I would like to open the floor for nominations for the office of chairperson of the board.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Ms. Spears as the chair of the board.
Second.
First and a second. Any other nominations? Hearing none, would you please raise your right hand if you agree to elect Christy Spears as chairperson? I see a 7-0 vote. Okay, Ms. Spears, take it away.
Our next order of business is to elect a vice chair. So I will open the floor for any nominations for vice chair.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Wayne Bolden as vice chair.
Second.
Motion and a second for Wayne Bolden. Are there any other nominations? Then nominations are closed. All those in favor of Wayne Bolden as our vice chair, please raise your right hand. And that also is unanimous vote. Congratulations, Mr. Bolden.
Thank you,
You
ma'am.
get to stay on as vice chair.
I don't have to move.
That's right. We'll get to stay seated where we are. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all know I love this. So I appreciate the honor and the support. We've got some exciting special recognitions today, starting with the Catawba Boys cross country team. I'm not sure who I'm calling on to.
Coach Osmolsky.
Okay. I don't
Osmolsky?
see.
How do you say that?
Osmolsky.
Y'all help.
Where's your coach?
Coach is not here to embarrass
Keep
you.
coming, y'all.
There he comes.
Y'all keep coming.
Come on in. We
Keep
won't bite
coming
you.
all the
Keep
way
coming
around.
up.
We promise we won't bite or throw things at you. Come right on around in
Just
front.
circle around. We'll talk behind your back.
We will, literally.
We prefer it that way.
Spread out a little bit, boys. Come on, we're gonna take a picture of something, right?
For the picture.
All right. So thank you everyone for being here, and again, thank you to the board members for bringing our boys team here to celebrate. For anyone who knows me, knows I hate giving speeches, so I decided to write it all down, and hopefully I stick just to that. I just want to say it is my honor and privilege to stand before everyone here today and recognize the extraordinary group of young men we have in front of us today to show their hard work, dedication, and teamwork it took to achieve the cross-country 4A boys state championship title. Introducing the boys of the state championship winning team, we have Jack Myatt right there. We have senior Dominic Argoni, junior and all-stater Jordan Kent, junior and all-stater Max Canetta, junior Brady Lauren, junior Cody Tanis, sophomore Aiden Rogers, sophomore Broxton Boone, sophomore Connor Myatt, and freshman all-stater Ryan Pearson as well. This team has shown commitment and resilience throughout the whole journey from the beginning of the summer to the final race in November, putting in miles upon miles and showing what it takes to be a championship caliber team. I would like to thank all the parents of these athletes for putting up with the countless remind messages that were sent throughout the season, and I'm sure the countless complaints about there being tired legs, not eating enough, and everything else that these athletes have done. I would also like to thank the entire community of Fort Mill for being there, and I'm sure everyone has seen our runners there at some point, either on the streets or on the trails or at the Greenway running around there as well. So I would like to thank you all for putting up with us with the endless miles that we put in throughout the season. Thank you again to everyone here who is here to celebrate the boys team, and thank you again for the board for inviting us here on this special occasion.
Now you'll get to scooch in
Y'all gotta
together.
get much tighter.
Now you
for
scooch
photo.
in. Scooch to the center.
All the way.
Now, that's all right.
All right, a little bit tighter so you can get closer.
Might have to do 2 rows.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
And you may notice a theme here because our next is recognition of the Fort Mill High School girls cross country team state champions, Coach Whitaker.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Coach Whitaker with the Fort Mill cross country team, and Coach Oz showed me up a little bit. I didn't write anything down, but that's okay. Thank you very much for having us here. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. It's also an honor and a privilege to coach these young ladies. Not only do they run fast, they are of exceptional character. They are great ambassadors for our school district and for our community, and I couldn't be more proud of the effort and the support for each other that they put into this season to ultimately be the 5A state champions this year. And also, in addition to being the 5A girls state champion, we also had Olivia Cleveland, who won the individual state championship this year in the 5A classification. So congrats to Olivia Cleveland. To your right, we also have Izzy Mizrandino, Lauren Fredenberg, Avery Moriarty, Caitlin Smith, Mia Zook, and Sarah Davis. Please give them a hand. Thank you. Sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
And we have one more special recognition, which is the Presentation of Excellence in School Building and Design Award for Catawba Ridge. Mr. Todd Cease.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Epps. Thank you for this opportunity. It's my pleasure to be here tonight just to present Fort Mill School District and Catawba Ridge High School with excellence in the school building design from the Association of Learning Environments. Association of Learning Environments is a national organization. Joe Romanek been a past president of South Carolina's chapter, so good work, Mr. Romanek. But it recognizes excellence in school design. We submitted Catawba Ridge High School. It was awarded the highest citation. So, Madam Chair, I'd like to present this to you and the board and Dr. Epps' administration. So.
Wonderful. And you can present it to us, but it also goes to you because I think you guys have designed this.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, since it's Catawba Ridge night, there's one other point of information I'd like to share. Recently, Ed Spaces, which again is really an international organization, had their annual conference in Charlotte. It was originally scheduled back during COVID. It was postponed until November the 6th of this year. Almost 200 folks came down from all over the country, and even Joe pointed out Argentina and Brazil to tour Catawba Ridge High School. We received wonderful comments. The facility looks the school looks as good today or better than it did when it first opened. So congratulations to everybody. Mr. Ledford and Mr. Mercer participated in the tour, and we just received so many great comments from people from all over the country. So you guys have a lot to be proud of with that school. The students represented themselves wonderfully, and were a gracious host to all of the guests from all over the country. So thank you very much.
It has truly been an awesome partnership with Jumper Carter East throughout the whole process of building that school and several others after it, so thank you. It is Catawba Ridge night, so,
Well, I have one other
oh, okay,
surprise award. Today, we were surprised by the South Carolina Association of School Administrators. One of our middle level assistant principals, Karen Scroggs, was awarded the Middle Level Assistant Principal of the Year award. We don't have anything for her. She got it at the school. I see Stump out there. Let's give her a round of applause.
for the entire state, right?
For the state, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, not just
Very-
Fort Mill.
That's right, very exciting. All right, so next up is our school spotlight on Catawba Ridge, and Mr. Ledford, are you gonna sort of kick it off and navigate us through?
I'm going to kick it off, and then I'm going to turn it over to the right people.
Okay.
Well, good evening. My name is Barry Ledford. I'm the principal at Catawba Ridge High School. First, I just want to thank you guys for allowing us to spotlight our school this evening. We're excited about the opportunity. We do a lot of things at Catawba Ridge well. I don't mean that to brag. I don't mean that to say that we're perfect, because we're not. But we do believe that we have a lot of things to be proud of in a lot of different areas across the board. In such a short amount of time, we have achieved accolades and accomplishments that our teachers and our students are very proud of. I believe that one of the reasons that we've seen the success early on is our motto of Be the Why. We believe that you should be willing to do it with all your heart year after year, and that's a driving force in everything that we do at Catawba Ridge High School. One of the programs that we're super proud of that embodies that motto of Be the Why is our high school credential program. It is a very special group of students that are part of that program and an exceptional group of educators. So we're proud tonight to be able to present about our high school credential program. And while I could stand up here and ramble on and on, it's probably best I turn it over to the expert. So, Ms. Anacey?
Hi, I'm Yvette Sinacey, and this is Courtney Smith, and we are co-teachers for the Catawba Ridge High School Occupational Studies South Carolina High School Employment Credential Program. We're very honored to be here tonight. As you know, Catawba Ridge has many accolades. I could go on and on and on. And it is because of the why. Why? We show up every day. We're willing to work hard. Our goal is to reach our students and to see them do their very best. The mission of Catawba Ridge High School is to unleash the talent of each student and to become college and career ready and reach the heights of their potential. Our program started when Catawba Ridge opened. Again, as you see, there's many accolades from our school. Many sports teams have made it to state playoffs. We have the #1 news show in the whole nation. We have accolades that are given to our JROTC group. They are known nationally. Our yearbook staff has been honored. Our theater staff has been honored. Our band is #1 in the state, and our fine arts have been honored. All of these areas are showing excellence in just the 4.5 years that we've been Catawba Ridge High School. But tonight, we're going to spotlight a very small portion, a very small population of the school. And this is the Occupational Studies Program, or the South Carolina Employment Credential. Now, what makes these students special? The state honors 3 different graduation avenues. One is the high school diploma. The second, that was rolled out just 6 years ago, or less than 6 years ago, is the South Carolina Employment Credential. And the third is a certificate of attendance. Prior to this South Carolina Employment Credential being rolled out, there was only an option for some of our students with disabilities who might not be able to obtain a high school diploma, the only option they had was to receive a certificate of attendance. The state took note of that and created the new credential. Now, let me talk to you about that credential. What is the South Carolina Employment Credential? It's not just given to students who are enrolled in our program. It is an earned credential, just like the high school diploma. It's a credential that's for students, again, with disabilities who might not have the opportunity to get a high school diploma. It prepares students for the workforce aligned with rigorous, modified academic and executive skill instruction. It prepares students to live independently in their community and be contributing adults. The process. So this is what these students have to do to earn this credential. Students must complete 18 required South Carolina high school credential courses and in addition 6 career-oriented electives for a total of 24 credits. They have to obtain 360 documented hours of work experience upon graduation. They must maintain a career portfolio and create a multimedia presentation. The career portfolio holds their resume, their work experience, their transition assessments, and artifacts of their gifts and talents. And I am here to tell you that these students do have some very special gifts and talents. I would like to introduce to you the team, the face of the program. I introduced myself and Miss Smith. We are co-teachers, but we also have with us tonight a teacher assistants, Miss Stacy Fisher and Miss Angela King. I like to call them student coaches. They are out with the students in the body of the school, coaching them on these skills that are necessary to earn this credential. I also have with us a co-teacher from Winthrop University with us this semester. She'll be with us again next semester, and she is learning the ins and outs of this program. This is Miss Cameron Harsey. But I need you to know that we are the face of the program. We are not the team. The team encompasses our entire school, from our administrators to our teachers, to our teacher assistants, to the cafeteria staff, to the maintenance staff. It encompasses the whole school. They have embraced this small population of students and have surrounded them and are helping them gain what they need to graduate high school with this credential and be successfully employed. We're going to tell you now what the process looks like of getting these students ready to be employed.
So in 9th grade, our students begin their career exploration. This entails going and visiting different sites in the community to determine what is some job options that they are interested in. We also have a job simulation lab at our school. It's called the PACE Lab. They are able to engage in several different types of activities, customer service work, computer work, construction, manufacturing, all of it, to see what their interests are. What are they good at? They are also invited to join us with our school-based enterprises. So a school-based enterprise is a business at our school. Our students have created a product. We are selling it to students or other teachers, staff members, whichever it may be, and we take those profits, and in return, we are able to continue with our school-based enterprises, provide opportunities for our kids, provide materials for them, supplies, and grow our school-based enterprises. In 10th grade, they continue with all of that, continue working with our school-based enterprises. They have more responsibilities in 10th grade. By 10th grade, they have narrowed in more on what their post-secondary goal would be. Where would they like to be employed after they graduate high school? So we are now looking at electives that are aligned with that, giving them work jobs that help give them experience and skills to go into the workforce in their preferred field. And they are also included on school-based jobs. This could be stocking the cafeteria for lunches. It could be helping keep our school clean, sorting mail for all of our teachers, whatever we can do to help ease the load of our staff. in 11th grade, our students pretty much know exactly what they want to do when they graduate high school. They are more in charge of our school-based enterprises and have even more responsibilities. And they are also at our vocational rehabilitation training center in Rock Hill. It is a service that helps people with disabilities or without disabilities who just need a little extra support in the employment field. And at that work training center, they are learning a variety of soft skills and hands-on work skills where they are given several tasks. They have to complete those tasks, and it can change daily, it can change weekly, but they're given those tools in their toolkit to help them. In 12th grade, they are the leaders of our school-based enterprises. They are training our freshmen. They are coming up with new ideas. They're creating new things for us to do. They are the ones that are putting in the majority of the work. So our students also go into community internships in 12th grade. We have had students have internships at Southpaw Screen Printing, at Wolf Park, the dog daycare and grooming, at Signs by Tomorrow in Rock Hill, at Fort Mill Elementary School in their pre-K lab, and we have one that is going to Lowe's this upcoming semester. We've had internships at Food Lion, so they are greatly involved in our community, and some of these students have paid employment as well. One of our 12th graders last year was a paid employee through the Catawba Ridge cafeteria staff, and she has graduated and is still an employee of Catawba Ridge cafeteria staff. So they have several opportunities to grow in their employment and get those skills.
So as you see with our timeline, it's not very difficult for our student to earn 360 work hours within the school building at Catawba Ridge High School. And this is a component. They have to have this in order to receive the employment credential. So we could talk forever about our program. We're very excited about it. We're very passionate about it. We're very passionate about seeing that our students being employees once they graduate high school and living life to their fullest capacity. One thing I want to talk about getting there is so important is that they learn entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship comes naturally if you're given the opportunity. And if you see, these are some of our school-based enterprises. We have 3. All 3 were created by students. They voted, they chose what they wanted to do, they branded it, they advertisement, those flyers are flyers that they have created. They decide what's being sold. Like one of our school-based enterprises is a coffee bar. They call it the Brew Crew Coffee Bar. In a few minutes, you're going to see the T-shirts that go along with that. They decide what is going to be served each month and what sweet treat will be offered. They bake those treats, and some of the hot drinks that we have provided, or even cold coffees, have been recipes that they have created. So we're encouraging them to develop this. With this comes self-advocacy, but also comes a great amount of self-esteem. Another school-based enterprise that we have is called, it was the very first one, and the students named it the Catawba Flower Power. In the Catawba Flower Power, every Valentine's Day or prior to, it takes about a month prior to the event, we teach them how to arrange flowers, how to shape the vases, how to match the colors, and then we sell Valentine's Day arrangements. This enterprise also has a big event in April where our ceramics teacher donates us all of his unclaimed pottery. We fill it with dirt. We teach our students how to plant the plants, how to match the plants. Sun plants don't go with shade plants, what colors go together. And you're going to see in the video a beautiful picture of the outcome. And we have a silent, we call it the Eclectic Garden Art Silent Auction. It's a big to-do. The students work really hard to set the plants out, to label the plants as to what they are, what kind of setting they need to be in. So this is a great learning experience for them. So that's the second, that's the first school-based enterprise. The last school-based enterprise was the coffee bar, but the one in between was the one that was the most fun. They wanted to make dog treats. Well, let me tell you about dog treats. There are several recipes. Don't always trust them. If you get them on Pinterest, let me tell you. So we were experimenting with these dog treats, and we thought we had it made. Cut them, they were beautiful, baked them, they came out pond scum green. And it was a chemical reaction with the ingredients that we had put in them. So then we had to go back to the drawing board. And the drawing board told us too that we couldn't have anything with peanuts in it because of peanut allergies, something we didn't really think about. In the long run, the students created their own recipe of dog treats. That has been very successful for us. Very successful school-based enterprise. We sell dog treats twice a month and have quite a following for our Catawba Ridge. We call them Copperhead Bites, or the students call them Copperhead Bites dog treats. We gave you a gift tonight. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that before I forget. When you look in the bag, everything in the bag was created by students. The logos, the sign on the outside, the sticker, there's a baked treat in there, and there's some dog treats in there. These were all created by students. These were not created by Ms. Smith and our team. They were not. So I have that all to say. I could talk to you forever about this, but we have a video that I think is going to ring home to you about what this program is all about. The young man in the picture is a musician. I will tell you a story. He came to me and he said, I want to learn how to play my music in front of people. He was scared to death. I'm going to let you watch this video and it's going to tell you all.
My name is Hayden McWanis, and I'm a 11th grader at Catawba Ridge High School, and I've been here for 3 years. When I first came to Catawba Ridge High School, I thought it'd be kind of like middle school. Everybody like gets to know each other. School-based enterprises is like a job our program does for like around the school. We have like Copperhead Bites, which is dog treats for dogs. We got Brew Crew, which is a coffee business we do for the teachers, and we get some seasonal stuff too. Like Catawba Ridge Flower Power. It's like we sell flowers to teachers, and we got the silent auction, which is like a huge competition of teachers buying flowers. It's fun. My graduation track is the South Carolina High School Credential. I earned this credential by earning 360 work hours and by attending the Work Training Center and completing an internship with a community business. I think this will help me in the future because I get trained to do all these work skills that I never knew I had, and like once I know I have those skills, I can bring it to other businesses. This program helped me unleash my talent by like practicing music in front of people, and presenting skills like helps me like get over the fear of like talking or singing in front of people. I want to build or like repair guitars or instruments like at like Guitar Center. My favorite part about the Credential program is talking to my teachers and friends I got to know for the past 3 years I've been here.
So as you can see, this is a very wonderful program, not just because of us. I just love these students, and I know Ms. Smith, we all feel the same. Our team feels the same. Our school feels the same. We want to see them be successful. This is some pictures that Ms. Smith is going to share.
So in the top corner is one of our students baking our Copperhead Bites dog treats. The middle picture is our first Brew Crew event from this school year. We were really excited that our entire guidance department came up and joined us for that. The other top corner is one of our students at her internship last year, Signs by Tomorrow. She was help cutting out the decals to make signs. In the bottom corner, we have a student who is currently working at PetSmart 1 day a week, stocking, helping with their stocking. Next semester, they have asked him to come 3 days a week to do stocking, and they're going to add some other responsibilities to him as well. So we're really excited that it went from 1 day a week to 3 days a week. The picture beside that, we have started a club at our school. It's called the Interact Club. It is a Rotary type club for high school. We do projects that improve our school and in our community. So that student is rolling up a beach towel. We are making care bags for the homeless, and we are going to give them to the women's homeless shelter in Fort Mill. As you can see, those are our Valentine's Day flower arrangements that take a lot of work, attention to detail, you know, making sure that everything is uniform, and all of the flowers are beautiful bouquets that have the same amount of flowers and are exactly what the teachers have ordered. And then our last picture, Mr. Bennett, who does our school district YouTube communications events, he came and saw Brew Crew from start to finish, behind the scenes. Our students were interviewed for it, and they were so excited to have a cameraman following us around for about 3 hours.
They thought they were celebrities.
Yeah. But it's just been such a wonderful experience seeing them do all of these things that you don't think school children do.
It's true. Finally, this slide illustrates just some of the community businesses that where we've either had internships or students have had full paid employment. I would like to emphasize that there is one that's not in the Fort Mill or Rock Hill community, and that's the Little Happy. Last year, we had a student apply for the University of South Carolina Life College program, which is really a big deal. They only selected 15 students, and there were numerous students that applied. She was accepted, and she is very happy at the Life College and is working at the Little Happy, as in addition to attending the Life College there. Her goal is to be a preschool paraprofessional, and the Life College is going to prepare her to do that. She had her internship at Fort Mill Elementary here in Fort Mill, so that's very exciting news for us. We're very proud of her. Last but not least, I want to say thank you to you as a school board. Thank you to Fort Mill School District. Thank you to Mr. Ledford and all of our administrators for supporting these students. We could not do it without you. And even though we're probably enlightening you to a program that you didn't know much about, I hope that you will continue to support us and we'll continue to be able to bring you wonderful news like we have brought you tonight. Because children are our future. We use our ingenuity and imagination to challenge and inspire students to exceed their greatest dreams and create a better community. That's why we place children first every day. These are some of our children that have been placed first and are excelling through their talents, through their education, through winning Student of the Month. Against all the 1,700 students in our school, we've got Student of the Month student, a student that actually got into the Project Search program. We've had 3 or 4 of those get in recently or in the past. So we are very thankful for this opportunity, as it is our passion to see these students succeed. We can't do it by ourselves. So thank you very much. And thank you for this opportunity to share this spotlight with you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I absolutely love this. What an incredible impact you're having on those students, and in turn on the community and ultimately society. I mean, we need more of this.
I can't wait for
Yeah.
the next auction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr.
I,
Epps.
I believe we were a part, maybe last year from Rotary, y'all had Brew Crew while we came for our holiday,
That's right,
so
for our holidays celebration.
I enjoyed that.
There's, just talking with you, kind of sidebar, Dr. Epps, you've mentioned many times, you know, like what we're doing is God's work. Like that's at the top of the chart. Like that was absolutely at the top of the chart.
Can I ask, how many students do you typically have in a year?
Actually, right now we have 12.
So 12, okay. I'm just going to repeat it for the microphone. Do they have the opportunity to walk the stage at graduation with their credential as well?
Our students are very fluid in our school body. They attend classes, elective classes, sometimes they even attend general education classes with support. They're in clubs. They really consider themselves a typical Catawba Ridge High School student, and that's the way we want it. We want them to be a very viable part of the school, and they are.
That's awesome. And again, just to repeat for the others that are watching us, yes, they walk the stage just like every other graduate and receive their credential and are fully integrated into the school in all kinds of ways. I think that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for what you do for these 12 students and for our whole community. So thanks again. What do we have next? We have some not as exciting stuff as that. Approval of minutes. We had two different meetings since we did our last minutes, November 1st and November 14th. So I'll first ask if you've all had a chance to review the November 1st minutes and if there were any adjustments or corrections.
No, ma'am.
All right, those will stand as approved. And then November 14th, any adjustments or corrections?
No, ma'am.
Those will also stand with unanimous consent. That brings us to public participation. I have one card here, so if Gretchen Benner would come up, and if you'll state your name and address, then you'll have 5 minutes to address the board.
Okay, thank you, Chairwoman Spears. My name's Gretchen Benner. Address is 1705 Brittany Lane, Fort Mill, South Carolina 29708. Dr. Epps and Board, thank you for this opportunity to speak as a parent. Nick and I have 2 elementary school students and a middle school student, and the topic for tonight is sidewalks on Harris Street and Sam Smith Road. Our family lives under a mile from Fort Mill High School, and just this afternoon, there were current Fort Mill Yellow Jackets walking on Harris Street, jaywalking on Harris Street because they live across the street from the high school campus. So for the past year, I've been talking to elected officials, and as you all know, this has to be a collaborative effort, but currently there's no sidewalk on Harris Street. And for all of the communities that live easy walking distance or biking, it would be great for a safe way to decrease bus drivers, to have a healthier day in the morning and the afternoon. So you are all invited to participate with Bike Ped Coalition. That will be collaborating with South Carolina DHEC next month for a walkability study for this exact path. Because without more buy-in, we need a collected effort for this to actually occur. So that's why I'm here tonight, to request your action to follow through on this health and safety concern, so that way we have less kiddos on the bus. Growing people can have a healthy way to get to and fro, especially now that Fort Mill High School has 2 different dismissal times. You have so much traffic with people driving to school twice in the afternoon to pick up at random spots on Harris Street. So this hopefully will help mitigate some of those issues. But yeah, we're grateful for your time to hear this concern, and I'm here if you have any questions, since I still have time on the clock.
My only question would be just, is this already scheduled? This walkability study is already scheduled?
Yes.
And if you can send us some information about that so that we
Sure.
can consider participating.
Yeah, that would be coming from Liz Duda, who's the chairperson of Bike Ped Coalition, as well as Mr. Stevie Michelli from South Carolina DHEC.
Ms. Duda has our email, so she can.
Yeah, we all do, but yeah, we appreciate your service and just hearing this concern, raising this to so many different people. As you all know, it's both a route that's the Fort Mill County or Fort Mill Town, as well as York County. So all of these elected officials are aware of this issue, but without you all also saying this is important for your present Yellow Jacket faculty and for student community members, it's really helpful to hear that from you all directly. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we are on to number 7, which is staff reports, monthly financials from Ms. Lordo.
Okay, good evening. In your packets tonight, we have the monthly financial report for October 31st, fourth month in the fiscal year. This is the month that we typically see the greatest draw on the fund balance right before tax collections start coming in November. So year-to-date, as of October 31st, total revenues were $43,458,656, and expenditures were $61,555,536. So we were using our fund balance for cash flow of $18,096,880, as we would expect for that time period. Real estate taxes did start coming in because, as you know, we all received our tax bills in October. So some of our taxpayers were very quick in payment. We appreciate that. We collected $1,704,000 in real estate taxes before the end of October. And I know you always like to know about vehicle taxes. Once again, we exceeded $1 million in vehicle tax collections, $1,536,000 in vehicle tax collections for October. October was also the starting month that we received state funds under the Act 388 Tier 3 funding, which, as a reminder, is the replacement dollars for our community not paying operational tax millage on homes. So those funds we receive in 10 months, and it starts in October. So our monthly collections on that piece of state funding was $2,186,000, as we would expect in October. I did not see anything else in October or year-to-date that alerted me during my review, but I'm glad to answer any questions, or we'll move on to impact fees.
I have a question.
Okay. Impact fees, I'm sorry, questions?
Sort of.
Sure.
So that was the difference between what we, for the Act 388, just for context. So that was the difference between what we would have received had people being bid.
No,
Yeah, exactly. What is that difference?
Okay, that difference, I'm not sure, I haven't broken it down monthly, but year-to-date, and I'm going off memory here, I can send you the exact number, but I believe we're at an annual deficit of about $45 million annually, is the difference between what we actually collect from the state under Act 388 versus what we would collect if all of our homeowners were paying the operational millage on their homes. What we collected in October was just 1/10 of our amount that we'll receive from the state.
And just for clarification, just so the public knows, that was an agreed upon amount from the state whenever they put 388 into place, that they would make up that difference.
Correct.
And that is not, and that's the number you just gave, that's year to date.
That's annual difference.
Okay.
That's annual difference is around $45 million that we would have in our budget that we could reduce taxes by if the state had stayed true to completely making us whole for homes.
Thank you.
Leanne, let me try and clarify one more time.
Okay, sure.
So roughly $2 million a month for 10 months.
Correct.
So we're going to collect about $20 million. But if we took our current millage and applied it to all the homes in the community, it'd be about $65 million.
Correct.
And that's the difference.
And that's the difference.
What's the 20 based on?
The 20.
The 2 per month times 10 month that we are receiving. What is that?
It is based on, I mean, like a lot of things at the state, there's a pot of money statewide.
Okay.
And then it's allocated out, and it's our share.
Based on
And it increases slightly, but in a fast-growing district like ours, it will never catch up based on what the General Assembly puts into the pot of state funding. It will never catch up to what we should be receiving.
And what's our deficit since 2007 when this went into effect?
probably pushing 300
I was thinking it was more than that, so yes.
or in excess. And I'll be glad, I'll bring those, great points, I'll bring those exact numbers to the meeting next time, so we can share this publicly as well. So,
All right, I just wanted to reiterate that the expenditures, the difference between the expenditures and revenue shows exactly why we have a fund balance. Why we have to
Absolutely.
maintain a fund balance to keep solvent during the non-collecting time of year.
Absolutely. And we generally maintain a fund balance of around 18 to 19% of our annual budget. But you can easily see in these months why that's so important, because from a cash flow, if we did not have those funds available as we incur our monthly expenses, pay our teachers, pay our utility bills, we would have had to go out and borrow what they call tax anticipation notes, or TANs. And we would have to pay interest on that borrowing.
We currently are somewhere in the neighborhood of 19 million at this point, and how much that would cost us to borrow would be a large number.
Correct.
Hey, Leanne.
Yes.
Tag came off. Do we make interest on our fund balance?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are
So
we-
most, our funds are on deposit with the local government investment pool,
Mhm.
which is a huge state pot for not only school districts, but cities, counties in South Carolina can invest in the local government investment pool. And all those funds are in interest. It's distributed through the county, and then the county allocates our share based on our balances
Okay.
every month.
Thank you.
Is there more than just our fund balance that makes up the first page interest on investments, that $947,000?
It is our fund balance, and it also takes into account as funding comes in throughout the month. If it's sitting on deposit for a period of days, that's factored in. And the allocation, the interest allocations from the county are based on averages,
Right.
which takes into account certain monthly payments coming in as well. Yes. Okay. Impact fees. To date, we have collected, as of the close of business yesterday, we've collected $62,094,568. As we had the opportunity to report out to the community last week when we celebrated the groundbreaking for Elementary 12, these funds are directly being used for construction costs for Elementary 12. At the last board meeting, I reported on what we're seeing in interest earnings on these funds, because these funds are also in a separate account with the local government investment pool. Last month, I reported we had earned interest of about $3.7 million, had another large amount for October. Interest was $295,000, November was $283,000, so now we're up to interest of $4,350,000. So combining that with our $62 million of actual collections, we're at 66, a little slightly over 66 million. So that's why I was very confident that day in saying, I think we are 100% able to fund this school with impact fees and interest earnings, which is a huge success for our community.
Along with some infrastructure for the future middle school at the same location.
Absolutely. Single-family units to date, we've now collected on 2,326 units, and apartments or multifamily 1,653, so a total of 3,979. November, we had 21 total units. We had 11 homes and 10 apartments that paid. Comparable data, for single-family, we're still pretty much equal. We're about 8% more. Apartments, we are still 62% less, but we're still in that period where we had that really large apartment day in February of 2022. So we're still capturing that on our prior 12-month data. But our calendar year, 2023 calendar year average is $628,000 a month. November actual was $319,000. So it just varies month to month with what's coming in on permits. But that's where we are on impact fees. Any questions about impact fees or any other comments on that? Our financial audit has been issued. I believe you got a copy of the book this evening for your review. It has also been submitted to the State Department of Education as required by December 1st. It's also posted on our website, and it has been submitted for 2 award programs, as we have done in the past. David Phillips, who's a partner with Green Finney Colley, will be here at your next meeting on January 9th to present, so please bring your questions for that evening, and David would be glad to answer and would welcome your comments.
Some light holiday reading.
Light holiday reading, the book, we call it the book. So it's very excited when we get the box of that delivery with the books. So, and the last thing I want to mention is we participate in the state purchasing program, which is through Bank of America. We annually receive a rebate based on the spend volume that our schools and our departments use when we use our procurement cards versus a requisition, purchase order, invoice, and check. We've received notification that our deposit will be made this Friday, and it's $90,253. That is the highest amount that we've received to date, $90,000 that we will then reallocate out to our schools based on their spend volume. So we'll be sending that out to them, notification this month of what we're adding to their supply budgets.
Another little holiday gift.
So I thought that was great news to share with you with that program. So, any questions? Okay, thank you.
I will just say I'm very excited to have
Yes.
have our hard hats here. Goes this way. From the groundbreaking, that was very exciting, for all that made it happen. Thank you very much. Great day, great morning. Next up is, under reports and information, a report from the School Board Association Legislative Conference. I'll just start off for 1 second. So for those who may not be familiar, we attend generally 3 major conferences a year. This one is the Legislative Conference, which is used to sort of identify and codify our legislative priorities for the upcoming session, as well as to elect our new officers for the coming year. I am very excited to recognize Michelle Brady, who is the new president of the South Carolina School Boards Association. She was sworn in Saturday. We were all there to celebrate with her and her family. It is quite an honor and a responsibility.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes into it, but we are very fortunate, I think, to have someone on the ground who will be working with the School Board Association and the legislation to, to emphasize the priorities for public schools across the state. So congratulations. Again, we probably could have done this during special recognition, but congratulations. Fantastic opportunity.
Not had a representative since 1991, Ann Sweet, so this is huge for the district, so congrats.
We talked about a number of things. We had a couple different panel discussions of state legislators. We had panel discussions of other impactful organizations throughout public education, like High School League and Teachers Associations and things like that. We learned a little bit more about the report card. It's not the right term. The financial accountability dashboard that Leanne had already shared with all of us in a meeting, either last meeting or the one before. So I found it to be a very informative session. We definitely talked through a lot of priorities. Many are the same kind of things that we've wanted for years, right? We've wanted our start date to be given to us. We've wanted the opportunity to remain nonpartisan, to have fiscal autonomy, to get our impact fee in such a way that it doesn't require the county, that since we're the body that's imposing the taxes, we'd like to just have that responsibility here. A number of those kind of things, but there were some exciting things, being able to have SROs retire and rehire like we do for certain positions, for certain teachers and things like that. That's one of the priorities. I don't know, you guys probably captured some that we talked about the retention task force for educators and some of the priorities there. You guys chime in with other things that you found to be of particular importance.
Yeah, I'll say, again, the highlight of the weekend was definitely Michelle being installed. I felt like she did an excellent job delivering an address on Sunday morning, your first address, that really hit the mark because it talked about resilience We had one legislator describe education in South Carolina as being on life support or in intensive care.
Yes.
Trauma unit.
Yeah, in the trauma unit. And then the next day, somebody from PSTA talking about the house being on fire when it comes to teacher retention and recruitment. So I think Michelle's address was really about resilience, and what school board members need to do is be the adults in the room as we sort of navigate through this. And I felt like it really hit the mark. So she did a good job with that. With that being said, I think the delegation part where we talk about our priorities, I think there were lots of great things, but it is interesting to see across the state how individual school boards want to pull different things out, like partisanship on a school board, and vote on that independently just so that they can say this is something that we are either advocating for or against. It was also eye-opening to see that there are some school boards and school board members that feel just something I can't fathom about public education, that they would be willing to say that we want our public dollars going towards private school vouchers. And articulating that in front of a microphone with other state school board members in the room.
About 350 to be exact.
Right. So again, I think that speaks to sort of the resilience and sort of being the adults in the room that we as school board members need to really focus in on. So it was eye-opening, but appreciative of the opportunity to be down there. So congratulations, Michelle.
Thank you.
Yeah, I said what Dr. Frateroli just said about talking about the different desires, needs, the different views of the different school boards. It also speaks to the differences. All of our school districts share common interests, common needs, but each district has its own needs, special needs. We're all unique. We're all individual. Just like they also said, every state's different.
That's right.
Well, every school district is a little bit different. And that's something to keep in, well, we've known that for a long time. We seem to be an outlier in the whole deal as to what our needs are versus other districts.
Yeah,
most other
we
districts.
heard frequently from a board member whose district has under 1,000 students and 3 schools, right? So her challenge is
Way
Don't even
different.
come close to
completely
ours.
different than anything that we face.
Right.
So,
Well, and I think to your point, so the common ground is we're all South Carolinians. We're all working for what is the best for the children and the future of our state. And even before Sunday's address on Saturday during the delegate assembly, I needed to be the adult because there might have been twice when I said, and I'll pick on Todd because I'm friends with Todd, and I'll pick on Holly because I'm friends with Holly. We are not doing this right now in this room. So y'all need to stop because I'm not having this. Yeah, that really happened because it got a little crazy and out of control with people wanting to be heard about things that had nothing to do with why we were there and what we were doing it for. And I needed to be the adult.
she's going to become an expert on Robert's rules. For things.
Well, she's just not going to play with the antics. So it's a huge honor for me. It's something that I have looked towards and worked towards for the however many years it's been that I've been on this board, and even in some ways prior to that. The relationships throughout the state, no matter whether it's another school district, a superintendent, a trustee, or it's a legislator, the connections that I have and the people that I'm able to work with and have meaningful dialogue and understanding, being in this role, I feel like is just going to help continue with that. So I'm looking forward to this coming year, and more importantly, representing Fort Mill and being the adult.
On that note, because Saturday was eye-opening for me because I don't think I've ever seen grown people behave that way. It made me proud for who I was sitting with and who I represent, and that we would never behave like that, and that we, as a 7, can disagree respectfully with each other and come to consensus. And like Scott, I was shocked at how many boards were presenting 5-2 or 4-3 that they wanted to take funds away from public education.
and that is the stance that they wanted the state association to take. I was also impressed with the opportunity to hear from legislators from both sides of the aisle on how they view our priorities, how they view their priorities, and what they feel we could do differently to communicate with them about our funding needs. So overall, I thought it was extremely valuable, super fun to feel famous because I knew Michelle, even though none of those people knew me, but that was fun. So it was a good weekend, and I think it was nice for all of us to spend some downtime together.
Yeah, I would not just belabor the point, but I think something that was really highlighted to me during the during these panels was okay, I guess if you looked up these individuals, you could have found out if they were a Republican or a Democrat if you just looked them up. But when you just listened to them, it was, as a school board member should be, it was a very nonpartisan conversation for the vast majority of it. At least the way that I viewed it, you wouldn't have known where they were. It was all about how do we improve public education for South Carolina, which was a very, very encouraging thing. And just to spotlight Fort Mill Schools, we're going over this website on how to track metrics against other districts in our state. We are at the top of like everything. So there was one specific that stood out when it talked about poverty in South Carolina. 60% overall, 60% of a child is living in poverty in South Carolina. And you just see this big cluster in the middle of this chart, and then you have way up in the corner this other little dot, and that was us. And it just made me so thankful. For what we have in our district really is special, and it's moments like that when you get around sections that don't have that, that you realize how truly special you do have it. To Libby's point, I think she hit the nail on the head. She said something during the delegation. She just kind of leaned back in her chair and she's just like, wonder why people think government doesn't work. Something that could have been done in 20 minutes.
20 minutes easily.
It's over 3 hours. 3 hours. And so, what we have is very, very special, and that was just my take.
Okay. All right. Well, now we're going to move on to some action items. And the first one is a very important action item, not that they're not always important. Ms. Lordo, would you like to talk to us about a resolution for a bond referendum?
Yes. So at the last board meeting, you heard a presentation from Leitner Management Group on our current or updated long-range facility needs plan and enrollment. It's a very detailed presentation with the enrollment projections by individual school and then by grade levels. And based on that update, tonight in your packet, you have a resolution for consideration for approval to order a referendum to be held for the school district to address the needs from that plan over the next 5-year period. This approval, this resolution would authorize the issuance of general obligation bonds either as a single issue or from time to time as several separate issues, which we typically have done on prior building programs. And the reason that we would choose to do that would be to not incur interest costs for our taxpayers until the cash was needed for a particular project. But this would authorize the issuance of bonds not to exceed $204 million. What you heard at the last meeting, the 5-year needs were $203 million. The additional funds would cover the bond issuance cost if needed. So it's worded up to $204 million. That gives us really the ability to have potentially up to 4 separate bond issues over this 5-year period. We have 5 years to issue those bonds. Once we issue a certain portion, we have 3 years to actually use those funds. The date of the referendum would be March 19th of 2024. And the question, as you can see on, I believe it's Appendix A, and I'm going to read the exact wording. The question would state, shall the Board of Trustees of Fort Mill School District 4 of York County, South Carolina, be authorized to issue and sell either at one time as a single issue or from time to time as several separate issues, general obligation bonds of Fort Mill School District 4 of York County, South Carolina, in the total principal amount of not to exceed $204 million, the proceeds of which shall be applied to defray cost of issuance of such bonds, architectural and engineering cost, and the cost of, and these would be our projects, constructing, furnishing, and equipping one new middle school, constructing, furnishing, and equipping one new early childhood development facility, acquiring and installing information technology products, acquiring real property for future school sites, capital maintenance of existing school district facilities, and to the extent proceeds of such general obligation bonds remain available and in such priority as determined by the Board of Trustees, renovating, repairing, expanding, equipping, and furnishing of other facilities of the school district. And that last piece is, gives us the ability to use any funds from things like bond premium, interest earnings during this building plan, we could use for any additional projects that you would approve during that period.
Like roofs or HVACs.
So at this time, I will leave this for your discussion and decision for approval.
So you mentioned the date, Tuesday, March 19th.
Correct.
And the amount, the specific projects are listed. The way the question would read would then give voters the choice to say in favor or opposed.
Correct.
So that's how they would, so it would be a special election on that day. We're not aware of anything, I don't think, on that same date at this point in time. There could be, but I don't think there is right now.
We don't think there's any other special elections within York County on that date.
And it would be open to all voters in the Fort Mill School District area, which is like 25 precincts that would be open.
Correct.
People would
All
vote
precincts would be operational
at their normal voting place.
Yes.
I don't know if there's early voting as well down here.
There will be, it's now required by state law
Okay.
to have early voting starting 2 weeks prior. We would incur a slight increase in the issuance or the cost for holding a referendum because of early voting.
That's about 3.5 months from now. So the next steps would be, I'll call it a citizens committee, like is what we've typically done in the past, that would help educate the community about this.
Correct.
And what's happening on that date. The only other thing I would mention as I was reading through this is I think it's important to note, we talked about these little hard hats earlier and the impact fee dollars, that this referendum amount that you're asking us to take on as a resolution is for $204 million, which is 67 plus 4 less than it would otherwise be if we had not.
Correct. We would have probably had to look at a resolution for around $275 million.
Between the impact fee dollars and the donation of some land, right?
Correct.
So it will definitely be a smaller bite to our taxpayers.
Yeah. I'd like to comment on the early childhood development facility. That's another thing that was a topic more than once over the weekend, is how important that is and what one of the differentiators is between the typical U.S. school performance versus some of the higher ranked international school systems and what they do. Also say that we currently do some of that. We have a limited 4K program, and it's housed in our various other elementary schools. So by doing this, it will offload some capacity in the current elementary schools, which is a positive thing as well, which will delay the need for the next elementary school. ultimately.
Yeah, and to note, Vice Chair, we're currently having to turn away a lot that would potentially need, not just want that, but need this.
Correct.
And so to take care of this is it's very important.
Talk about a tax savings,
Well,
right?
Yes.
To not have to pay child care
Right.
for that
To
year?
not pay the child care after a 4-year-old preschool program that your child would be able to go to, you're saving personally in your home budget. Yes, it's costing you on a tax increase because you're agreeing to tax yourself, but we're hopeful, ever hopeful, that the legislature will follow through with the discussions and whatnot, and will see their way to funding the actual operations education portion of pre-K, because they currently do not.
And I'm so sorry. Before we continue, can I get a reminder on what our preschool, our kindergarten readiness percentage is?
Yeah, I can deal with that. It's 54% of our
54.
kids
54%.
come ready.
This number only has room to go up with a program like this.
Well, and Joe, I was actually thinking that was a conversation you and I had, that when you get to scores like we have in middle and high school and graduation rates and SAT scores and things like that, it's hard to continue to improve from a 96th percentile to a 97th percentile.
Right.
But the way you do that is you make sure that every single student is coming in with the best opportunity. And so you're right, to go from only 54% being ready to a much higher number gives them that opportunity for the next 12 years to continue to excel.
That's right.
It's like any strong building, you start with the foundation.
Right.
That's right.
And that's it.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the administration for a resolution ordering a referendum in Fort Mill School District Number 4 of York County, South Carolina, to submit the question of whether the school district shall be authorized to issue not exceeding $204 million total principal amount general obligation bonds, providing for the form of ballots to be used, providing for the notice of the referendum, and providing for all other things necessary to submit the aforesaid question.
Second.
See what I was going to read from. We have a motion and a second for a resolution ordering a referendum in Fort Mill School District Number 4 of York County, South Carolina, to submit the question of whether the school district shall be authorized to issue not exceeding $204 million total principal amount general obligation bonds, providing for the form of ballots to be used, providing for notice of the referendum, and providing for all other things necessary to submit the aforesaid question. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. 3.5 months.
Go team.
We do have another action item for some new school courses. Mr. Scruggs?
Hi, good evening. I'm in my usual position as the closer of things for the evening, but I'll take my usual approach and try and be succinct. I am bringing our yearly new courses that are going to be added to the program of study. This is a process that begins each year in September. October is really when we ask our teachers to have school-level discussions about what needs to be added, what courses we want to expand. Sometimes it's just a need of, we already have this program, but we want to have more in the sequential pathway. So this starts at the school level. We ask that our schools collaborate with one another, and then that gets lifted to a district level where our assistant principals for instruction come together. They review it and make a recommendation to our principals. Our principals then take all that feedback and say, yes, we want to add this, no, we don't, or maybe we want to make some changes before we consider it in the future. Then that gets packaged up neatly, and then that's what comes to you tonight. Anytime we look at new courses, we really look at a few things. I'll just point out 4 on this list. We want to make sure they meet the needs and interests of our students, that they align with our current grading policies in the state, the uniform grading practice, that they are available to, that we've enumerated who it's available to by grade and by prerequisite, and that it's a collaborative effort, that we're really looking at this as, is this something that we have equity amongst the 3 schools that everyone can access and can be able to take these courses, because we understand we don't want to have it at one program only available to one, and we know that's a non-negotiable for you, so we want to make sure we have that. So tonight, our new courses, right out of the gate, the things that are not dual credit, the things that are going to be for a CP credit are, this is my favorite, just because of the numbering on it, dance, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Like, but it's our 5th through 8th level. That's not nearly as fun to say, but it's our 5th through 8th level of dance, and this is so students can go through that sequence and take it fall, spring for 4 years. We have that availability in some of our other programs like chorus and band. This is now going to elaborate that for dance to have the availability to take it fall, spring. Personal finance is what I brought before you at our last meeting. This is our new half credit that the state has required that our students get before they graduate, so we want to add that to our catalog. It actually comes with a name shift for our existing CTE course. It just became advanced personal finance. So we add this new one, and what was existing becomes for CP credit. It's advanced, but for CP credit. Personal health and wellness, a half credit there is really going to be what we pair that with. When we talk about personal finance, we pair it with health and wellness so that they're going to get a full credit. This is what's replacing High School 101. I realize there's a naming device very similar to our PE credits for that. Guitar 3 is a 3rd level of guitar where the students will be able to perform in an honors ensemble and prepare for college level majoring in guitar. So this is an elite level that is building off the foundations of 1 and 2 and is accessible to a student who is advanced. They can audition to go straight to level 3. They don't get their credits for 1 and 2, but they could go straight there if they come to us equipped as a high schooler with a lot of guitar skills. And then also similar to the nature of dance 5, 6, 7, and 8, journalism editor for a yearbook or newspaper 5, 6, and 7. The reason there's not an 8 there is because there's an intro course on the front end of it. So they take that intro course and then they can proceed through all the way through the 7th level. We want to make sure that they're able to continue accruing credits and be involved in their passion all the way through high school. So we have a lot of sequential progressions based off of the courses here with new works, new pieces. It's all new things, even though they're repeating that naming device of the overall course. When we look at our dual enrollment, our dual credit programs, first we have chemistry. These are things that I brought to you a year ago and said I thought would be on the table to add this year. So they're on the table now. Our university partner, USEL, had a cap on them previously where they couldn't exceed a certain number of courses with us. They now have a waiver from the state where they can exceed that, so we're able to bring all of these things at once to you. We pair them, so it'd be Chemistry 105 and 107, so their students are able to access those LTAP Lottery Assistance Tuition Funds. So this is really a forensic chemistry and a chemistry together. You'll see 4 credits because there's a lab piece associated with that. They'll still earn 1 high school credit for each of those 2 courses. The college credits will be 4 and 4. Dual credit government and economics will be, this is exactly what it sounds like, an economics, principles of microeconomics and an American national government course. I should take a moment to point out that when we're dealing with dual credit, we are working with our university partners to ensure that our instructors meet their expectations for adjunct status. That's usually to have a master's degree in the subject or 18 master's level hours in the subject for us to be able to teach it on our campus. So we have to submit our teachers' resumes, then it's approved there. So we're going ahead and requesting that you approve these courses, but we're going to work on making sure our instructors can have them. Unfortunately, the timeline for the turnaround with the university partner is much slower than our timeline for trying to get it approved this time of year. All right. Continuing in the dual credit model, we already have an introductory Spanish for dual credit. This would be an intermediate Spanish, 6 hours. And the great thing about this is it allows our students to basically knock out their non-major foreign language requirements. If they are a non-major, 2 courses at the 200 level, you can often satisfy what they are required to take. So in high school, you could go Spanish 1, 2, the introductory dual credit and the intermediate dual credit and satisfy your graduation requirement in college for that. Same thing for French. You'll see intermediate French there. And then hot off the presses, newly proposed and this has gone back and forward, so we had to change the board packet a couple of times to make sure this made its way into it. But we have a dual credit math option. You'll notice that this one is articulated through York Technical College, and this would be college level algebra and probability and statistics. Just like when we brought to you English 101, 102, we knew there'd be an impact on AP, but we think the two can coexist. There is an AP prob stat. We're going to work with our teachers to make sure that it doesn't eliminate altogether that pathway for the student that would be best served by AP statistics right now.
Do you know what constitutes being best served? I mean, how would you pick one versus the other?
Yes.
Just on the surface, it looks like, oh yeah, dual credit. That's where I'm going, but.
Same thing with English 101. The portability of an AP credit out of our state is often recognized in a way that maybe a local technical school's credit, they may not know what an 87 from York Tech looks like, but they know what a 4 on the AP exam looks like. So we talk to our students about what are your pathways, what are you trying to get into, what is that college looking for, and then how are you best served. We're also exploring some pathways with them in the future to see if there's a way that we're potentially looking to see if we can even give an option of guaranteed credit by having AP overlapping with dual enrollment. I saw a school in Alabama where that's taking place right now, so that if the student were to get a 2 on the test, the AP test, but pass the course, they're guaranteed college credit. It's a win-win. You're still taking AP level work, and you're guaranteed that by your partner. So we're going to talk with York Tech, USCL to see if that's a possibility.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Move on to the CTE. For all of these dual credits, are they, so like, I'll go back to chemistry, 105 and 107. Those two together would be taken in a semester?
Yes, 45 days for the first course, 45 days for the second. And really it's exceeding, we have to make sure they exceed those 6 hours to get the lottery assistance tuition funds. So just like we do for English 101, that's the first 45 days. This would be the second 45 days.
And all of these pairs go that way?
Yes, ma'am. All right. And then we have our Director of CTE and STEAM here with us tonight to present our CTE additions. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here to present some CTE classes with you all. So the first one is Introduction to Baking and Pastry, which will follow our culinary pathway, and our chef at Fort Mill High School would be teaching that. And then we have Introduction to Teaching, which is actually a new pathway for us. We've had early childhood education, and that pathway has been child development through early childhood education 2 into teacher cadet. What I have noticed, just doing some research over the past year and a half, is that we don't have a high number of students in that pathway. And so after doing some research, I thought it would be good to work with the APIs, the principals, and the teachers in that program to look at expanding it to Introduction to Teaching so that we can hit not only the early childhood, but go all the way up to 12th grade. So this is our new pathway, and it would be Child Development 1, Introduction to Teaching 1, Introduction to Teaching 2, and then that would roll into Teacher Cadet for our students. And our hope is that we could make an incentive with this, that if you complete this pathway, you'll not only be a CTE completer, you'll go on to college, hopefully, go into the teaching program, and that we will give you an interview at Fort Mill School District when you get your teaching degree.
And we'd like to offer them a contract at that time, but we don't feel that bold, do we?
When they're finishing up their
We don't feel that bold.
high
We're just
school,
trying
yeah.
to, we're trying to incentivize the teaching profession, but.
Right.
Yes.
I think
your
that's
own.
important, right? That's a huge component for us to have more of our own students entering the profession.
Yes, ma'am. And we would hit more grade levels.
Right.
Currently, we can only go up to age 9 with that CTE pathway, but we can go all the way up to 12th grade with Introduction to Teaching.
Nice.
And then we have some dual credit options coming up this next school year with dual credit medical assisting for Fort Mill High School. That would be medical vocabulary anatomy, and then responding to emergencies with York Technical College. And then that would be with the teacher at Fort Mill High School. And then we also have dual credit emergency services, and that would be our students going over to York Technical College. And we also have dual credit accounting with Winthrop, which would be new for us.
Would that be on our property or on?
That's actually going to Winthrop as well. Yes, ma'am.
Any opportunity in the future for some of those teacher educational courses to become dual credit options?
I'm so sorry. Could you repeat that?
To have a dual credit option for some of the educational courses, the teaching courses.
So the fourth level of that is teacher cadet, which is dual credit through
Okay.
Winthrop.
Okay.
And there's two levels of teacher cadet. We added that, I think last year or the year before. So there's 6 hours that you could potentially get right now. We're also in discussions with York Tech about a program we've seen in Greenville where they have Pathway to Tigertown in Greenville, where you can take some dual credit courses in education as an undergrad, as a high school student, then transfer to a technical school where you work again on educational courses with, after you've done that, guaranteed admittance to Clemson for Greenville. We've approached York Tech about that for a partnership that would allow our students to access Clemson, USC, and Winthrop with going to York Tech potentially tuition-free for up to 2 years before making that change. So we're in conversation with them as a recruitment tool as well, that if we can set the hook early with a love for education in the Fort Mill School District, help them get 2 years of tuition-free, and then send them to the university of their choice, hopefully we bring them right back here to make a positive impact.
And it's exciting to see some of the medical field as well, because I know the people
Yeah.
entering those professions, we need more of those as well, so these are great.
Absolutely. So our local board-approved courses are things where we have the ability locally or you have the ability as a school board to sign off on these. These are not things that have a course code of their own with the state existing. It's us saying that we want to establish this as a local supported course. We've done a number of these over the years, but I'll show you what we would like to bring today. And it's nice, it builds off of Catawba Ridge's presentation. We're talking about Unified PE. This is an extension of Club Unify, which is basically an inclusive physical education where we would have general education students and special education students in a PE course together collaborating. While this would not count as the PE course for a high school graduation, it would be an elective for students wanting to be involved and have an inclusive environment with their peers. And this would be the coursework for this. The framework is drawn largely from Club Unify and some of the Special Olympics programming. So our instructors have gotten together across the 3 high schools and said, this is something we want to do. It'd be a great tool to make sure we have positive inclusivity amongst our students. And it seems to be a desire. You see some of this at the middle school now where there's an inclusive section of chorus or another elective credit. So we would carry this over to the high school. So these are also the ones we have approved in the past. It's a number of things across the board. I won't read them all to you, but these are examples of things that we have adopted locally, and every year we bring these for your reauthorization, your reapproval. High School 101, you'll note, is up there. We asked to reauthorize it because you never know when a student will get into a situation where they need a credit. We'd rather not eliminate it. If there's a situation where perhaps we're trying to work with a child to salvage a credit and they were in something like this, we would keep it on the books that we could put them in a standalone section if needed, something like that. Yes, sir.
How does the journalism editor 4, 5, 6, and 7 differ from the new course that you presented at the beginning of this packet?
I will say the journalism editor 4, 5, 6, and 7, I believe, is a typo to be included on this list because we found a course code. Initially, we thought that was going to have to be local board approved. I failed to strike it before today's meeting. That's my fault, Dr. Frateroli.
Gotcha. I got some questions for you.
Yes, sir.
I got 4. So the first one is, so I appreciate the offerings. I just want to have you frame this for me. So
Yes, sir.
Dance 1, 2, 3, 4. We're learning the sprinkling, and we're migrating to something else. 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you frame that for me, please? On what does that really mean?
Yes, sir. So you will see that the earlier levels of dance are more techniques of learning movement, and they get into choreography as they move on up into 3 and 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't say it without smiling. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are for our advanced students, the students that probably come to us with a level of, or that are going to proceed to that level, are those that are invested in dance team, color guard, private dance, and they come to us with a high level of skill, so they want to continue to grow it, grow their skills in choreography and technique. And they do a variety of dance. So for instance, dance 1 and 2 may focus on different types. I'm going to paraphrase here because I can't say that they'll do hip hop in one and classical ballet in the other, but something along those lines. And so they'll grow their variety and they'll grow their depth of knowledge on choreography.
Good descriptor, thank you. Next one. I know Holly and you had touched on this, but I just want to make sure I ask this question and make sure I get some clarity on it. So we have a teaching shortage and lack of craving for this profession compared to past. How have we modernized this curriculum?
Well, our hope is that we can have these students go through these 4 classes, be a completer. I don't know if you know, but they get a really fancy cord, which is exciting for graduation if they're a completer. And then to be able to offer them this interview when they come back, knowing when I go to college, I could already have this plan in my head of what I want to do and get that degree and come back and know that I have an interview in Fort Mill School District. We're obviously in a teacher shortage. We're trying to give them an idea of what they can do before they even get to college. So maybe they have that plan ahead of time to know that they can come back home and have a job here with us in Fort Mill School District.
Perfect. Thank you. Next question. This is regarding the journalism editor. I was the editor-in-chief of the high school newspaper and college. I'm curious here. What's the difference between 5, 6, and 7? Is there what would be some of the what's evolved over time? What are there any standouts there?
So I would not say that this is necessarily a new approach that you make it a 6 and we're going to tell you the secrets of editing that we didn't tell you in 5. But I would say that it's honing one skill the same way an instrumentalist is going to, it's not new notes, but it's, I have continued to practice and my skill. So for the editors, it's really about sequential progression of those skills. They're dealing with new articles, new pieces, and each year is a new challenge, whether it's for the yearbook or whether it's for the newspaper. Each year brings new challenges. I think about when the year we encountered COVID, how did the yearbook pivot in that? I'm sure the editor had a very different experience in that year than they did the previous, and then the A-Day, B-Day. Everything brings a new challenge to it. Likewise, as we cover new content, new approaches, we move from online to in person, so it's a brand new experience for them each time, but it's not necessarily a new skill set that was previously off the table that we bring on.
Thanks for that clarity. And last one here. So this is Guitar 3. So what's the difference, if you can kind of spell out or just give a quick detail, the difference between 2 and 3? Am I just blowing a string and I'm doing it differently? What?
Okay, so I touched on this just a little bit on the initial presentation, that they're going to play in more complex ensembles. So before they may, in Guitar 1, they're going to learn the basics of guitar. In Guitar 2, they are moving forward in their progression towards mastery of it. In 3, they should have a proficiency with guitar, but they're going to work on playing in ensembles. So they're going to actually be in different groups. They're also looking at preparing for college level playing. They may not pursue it in college, but this is for someone who's trying to go in well equipped into music theory and to the basic performance courses in a college setting. That is the difference between 2 and 3. Now, I will tell you that often 2, 3 are going to be grouped together in the same room at the same time. So it's the instructor's approach to these students. They'll meet them where they are. So if I'm in 2, but you're advanced in 3, they're going to give you a more challenging repertoire than maybe I would receive in 2.
Perfect. So I'm appreciative of the desire, dedication, determination that you all have made here and bringing more offerings to the table. So I'm appreciative of that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It's just amazing to me the things that students can do these days in high school. Right? We didn't have these classes when I was in school, so pretty exciting.
So based on that, if I have made my notes correctly, I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation of the administration for 13 additional programs of study for the coming year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for 13 additional new programs of study. Any further discussion All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries.
And I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation of the administration for a new local approved or authorized course for unified PE.
Second.
Motion is second for a new locally authorized course of unified PE. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
And I did not count these because in my world, there's like, 4 and then we're too far gone. So,
The previously.
right? So I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation of the administration for reauthorization under local board approval for the 23 through 34?
23, 24.
I think it should be 24. 23, 24 school year. Hey,
Just
I
over 10
like it.
years, right?
Let's do it through 34. Let's move. As presented and listed accordingly.
Second.
Motion is second to reauthorize the set of local board courses for the 23, 24 school year. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We got
Thank you
a
so
whole
much.
bunch of fun courses for our
Yeah, we
high
do.
school students.
I'm like, I want to come and take some of these.
Yes.
I'm not taking tests.
All right, so we are now to your floor.
My turn, huh? What I'd like to do tonight is get through the boring part, the mundane, do my calendar, enrollment, attendance, and then finish with a statement about the historical significance of tonight's meeting. Okay, calendar. The 2-hour early release day last Friday, the Legislative Advocacy Conference in Charleston this past weekend, the school board meeting tonight on the 5th. The 22nd is the last day before the break, the winter break, the Christmas break, the half day for students in the first semester. And then the 25th through January 4th, we have the winter break. So, and then on the 5th is a teacher work day, the Friday the 5th, that's right. No school for students. Start back on the 8th, first day of the second semester. The school board meeting on the 9th. MLK Day on the 15th, which I believe is on Monday.
Yes.
Yes.
Then the school board retreat, and all that's tentative, but in years past now, for about 4 or 5 years in a row, we've had a retreat during the day, and then we either had a meeting that night or we did not have a meeting, so we'll announce all that as we get closer. And then the 26th, a 2-hour early release day, again, at the end of the month for teacher planning. Any other dates that I failed to recognize?
I haven't seen anything come through yet, but we usually have a COG meeting in January.
Yeah, usually around the 1st of January.
Yeah, but haven't seen anything on it. It's maybe a little bit early for them with that. Other than that, nothing that pertains to.
Didn't have anything else on my
Here.
calendar.
Okay. Enrollment update, we came in 18 more students higher than we finished last month, 18,401 to 18,419. Again, a little slow incremental increases, and I think last month we even actually fell by 3 or 4. So
But we usually
that
get
time-
another.
Let's see what find my cheat sheet here for the schools. The elementary, let's start with the middle school. Gold Hill Middle led the way with 93.66. The high school, Fort Mill High, with 94.4. This is teacher attendance. And then the elementary schools, the district winner, Riverview Elementary, 96.7. So Darlene's doing something to make them come to work, I guess.
That's right.
Make them want to come to work. is what you
Congratulations
mean.
to those kids.
Why Joe comes every year.
Right?
Now, a little statement about tonight. The school board does not, I can think back through, since 1998, I think we've had probably 6 referenda, maybe. Somebody can help me remember that or get exact numbers. I'm speaking on behalf of the administration and the school board. We don't take recommending, adopting resolutions to authorize referendum lightly. I commend the school board on being strategic planners. What the 10-year facilities need report does, the function is to tell us when we're out of capacity and when we need new schools. Then we have to piece that together with the construction timeline of 36 months for elementary schools and up to 48 on the bill for middle and high school, and plan ahead. So since 1998, we lost the referendum in 97. We came back with a revised referendum in 98 and won. We've won each one since then because I believe we made a good case for the public to consider. I say this to mean that raising taxes is not something we love doing, enjoy doing. We're a victim of our own success, I believe, in that people continue to move here. We've got 3 or 4 schools currently frozen in enrollment. So speaking on behalf of the board, and y'all can tell me if you disagree, and on the administration, I commend you on taking this move tonight. Ultimately, the public will decide, which is the way it ought to be. And it's the public will vote up or down, and that all our jobs are to do is let you know as a public when we're at capacity, when we need schools, and make our recommendations accordingly. So I just wanted to say that, and if I misspoke for any of you, please speak now, forever hold your peace.
All good.
Yeah, I mean,
Start
I
night.
think what we heard 2-3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago, whenever it was, is confirmed what we were feeling based on the number of freezes and things and what we see every day in the growth of the numbers. But it confirmed, for me at least, without this referendum, we will be badly out of space and not only be on much more of a freeze, but we'll be just loading classrooms up beyond what we think is efficient to run a classroom for our teachers. We don't like to have 32 kids in a classroom or whatever the numbers would end up being if we keep trying to cram them into the existing facilities. So
And we'll start eating breakfast
at 9 o'clock.
9 a.m. Or lunch, rather. Yes, lunch.
Yeah. So. Anything else? All right, well, we are in need of an executive session to discuss contractual issues and personnel recommendations. So thank you all for joining. Have a great rest of the year. We will be back in January.
Motion to go into executive session.
All right, we are in executive session. Thanks, everybody.